Jerzy Kosinski's first book in this country was The Painted Bird, a harrowing story of a Jewish boy's survival in Nazi-occupied Europe, based on Kosinski's childhood. Since then, he's written 7 other novels and won the National Book Award. One of his books, Being There, became a movie starring Peter Sellers, and Kosinski became an actor himself briefly in the movie Reds. His latest book is The Hermit of 69th Street, The Working Papers of Norbert Koski. He calls it a work of fiction, and it's nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
This is a very different kind of novel, to say the very least. That's probably the understatement of the year. There's no real central plot. There's lots of footnotes quoting everyone from Shakespeare to...
It's a different plot. It's a plot about plotting of a novel.
I guess if you had to describe it, it's describing the process of writing a novel.
Yes,
is that fair
there
to
are movies
say?
about making of a movie and dramatic plays about making of a play. This is a novel about making of a novel. It takes what happens here in this writing head when the head is trying to conceive of a novel. A different universe, and yet the universe with this very head. What happens? Where do I, for the story, do I look into myself? Do I look at you? What is the mixture, the fusion? What is the synthesizer? Then what kind of a narrative boat do I create? Catamaran, a one-man kayak, a speedboat. In other words, what will drive the narrative train of this novel? What kind of horsepower?
I think anyone listening to that explanation can see it's a difficult process that you go through, and it's not a normal novel. I mean, this constantly going back to the footnotes. Some of the critics says makes it unreadable, but it's like almost a movie where you go back in a plot.
Can we call it an abnormal novel? That would be great.
An abnormal
novel, but
I just wonder how difficult it is to get a book that is so different. Because we live in a world where, anytime anything is different, be it a movie or a book, people recoil. They don't want to take a chance. It must have been difficult to get it published.
It is difficult only in one sense, that you have to convince yourself that you want to design a different craft, a different narrative craft. It's no different, in fact, than in any other area of life when you try to do something that is not quite common. I think it was far more difficult for Joyce to write Ulysses than for Kosinski to do The Hermit of 69th Street. And all those things what chances he took, designing an entirely different narrative story.
Yeah.
Once you know this, that it can be done, look at Proust. Look at Faulkner, Sound and Fury. I mean, not an easy craft to navigate.
And this was 6 years, right?
It took 6 years to make. Part of this was gathering bravery. I mean, gathering wind, saying, yes, let's have something that will be different, over-designed almost.
Was part of it also speaking back? I mean, this is the first book since the controversy of '82, where there were allegations that you weren't writing your own material. And this is Norbert Koski faces that same kind of problem.
Yes, it was, in fact, the whole idea of what is the role of other writers in a writer's life. The writer's one eats, the writer's one imitates. That gives the prompting to that book.
And the usage of all the other writers and the quotations.
Yes, in fact, whenever I feel that there's someone who says something better than what I could say, let's say someone would describe a woman better than us, why bother? Let's Proust this idea. There it goes in the text, which means I clearly delineate what is mine, what's not. That's a novelty. There are many other, I like to think there are many other novelties in the book. But it is a laterally written novel, not vertically. You move the way you move, the way you look on the screen. Commercials interrupt it. You have at your disposal, when you are a spectator, many other channels. You have many other channels at disposal on the page of this book.
What do you want the reader to walk away with?
To be entertained. In other words, this is the reader who knows computers, who knows whose car is differently built today than it was 25 years ago. Am I going to imitate writers who used to write novels?
In other words, who is used to a lot of information.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it makes you think.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back right after this.
Tomorrow, Lauren Bacall will be with us, and on Thursday and Friday, Tom Cruise.